Welcome to the first annual show of the Bears Den. I'm your host, Filippo Mazza. With me, as always, Alex Cimino. This is your place to find any of your sports needs. We'll have a variety of topics from the NHL to the MLB. Anything you need, we'll have it here. Let's start off with the NHL. First question of the night. Who has the best young core in the NHL? What do you think?
Well, you know what, Filippo? I'm thinking it's between Edmonton Oilers and the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm just thinking, Toronto's got a young core, very young core. They got Kadri, Matthews coming up, Marner, very young D-core, and all aspects of their roster is young, and they have a bright future ahead of them. I'm not sure if they're experienced enough yet to get to the playoffs. I'm not sure about that. And on the other hand, you got Edmonton, who's a very good team as well, with McDavid, Puljujarvi, all the young players there who are building, and you can tell they're getting a little more experience, and you can tell that the future's looking very bright and very soon.
They're first in the division right now.
Right, exactly.
They went from last to first now.
Exactly.
But I just don't see Edmonton in that picture. I see Toronto, and this is shocking coming from an Oilers fan, but I see Toronto as more of a contender for the best young core. I mean, look at rookie scoring alone. Toronto's got Matthews, Marner, and Nylander, 2, 3, and 4 in rookie scoring. Only behind Line from Winnipeg, which really, I mean, you can't really compete with that guy when he's scoring like hat tricks a game.
Right.
But I think it's hard to argue that. I mean, Matthews, look at him right here. He's got 19 points, only 4 behind Line, and he's got more assists. And Toronto is not doing the greatest. I can see that, but I just think that you can't really deny that. And I mean, with Edmonton, you do have the young guys, but when you look at it, you kind of just have one young guy that's carrying. You got McDavid. Basically.
Yeah, you're right. But you got Talbot and Ned, who's also a young guy who's holding them out.
I wouldn't say he's young. He's a little bit past there. I think
he's still got a long ways to go in the
young in the league.
Yeah.
Young in the league. Let's say that.
League's very young.
I don't know. I think you just got to go with Toronto at this point. I mean, Edmonton is doing well, which I'm happy about.
Yeah.
But I think that you got to attribute that to McDavid, to Talbot, Draisaitl a little bit in there. He's having a really good season this year, so they do have a pretty decent young core. But I think you got to go with Toronto. The most shocking thing we got to talk about is Arizona, because if you recall, about a year ago, everybody was saying this team's got the best young core in the league. You got Max Domi, Anthony Duclair, Dylan Strome, great young core, and now we look at it and they're not even in contention. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know what? Every team goes through a struggle. If you just noticed, Mike Smith had a 63-shot save performance and still lost in the shootout. Yeah. And obviously, every team goes through it. It's a struggle. They're also young as well. But it all comes with time. You got Oliver Ekman-Larsson in the back, very strong, one of the top defensemen in the league. Domi and Duclair, they don't have to worry about a thing in the future.
Although I will say, they are considering trading away Duclair.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes you have to sacrifice that, and if you sacrifice a good player like Duclair, you're going to get someone good in return.
This is true. Now, next on, we're moving on. We got the NFL predictions for Week 13. So, we're going through all the games on Sunday, as the games on Thursday and Monday night have already been played. So, we'll start off, Detroit versus New Orleans. Who do you have?
I'm gonna go with Detroit.
Really?
Yes, and the Saints are at home, and I know it's tough to win in New Orleans, but Detroit has been playing pretty well. I think with Stafford holding behind center, and the Saints, their defense has been very weak. They've shown it throughout the whole year. They need to work on the defense.
You know what? I'm gonna agree with you on the Saints just because, and this is for my buddy Matt Favit out there. I don't see the New Orleans Saints as a good football team anymore.
Not right now.
Not anymore.
Right now. They got breezed, but that's about it.
They've dropped too many games. They lost on a blocked extra point.
Right, and they've also lost key players like Jimmy Graham, who's with Seattle, who's probably one of the best tight ends in the league. He's coming back from an injury now, but he's still playing great. And they've lost a lot of key players. Darren Sproles was one of their best kick returners I've ever seen. And
they look like they're struggling.
And it's a rebuild, and sooner or later Breeze is going to retire, and it's just going to be something new for New Orleans.
So we got 2 Detroit votes for that one. Moving on, Denver versus Jacksonville. This should be an easy one. Who do you have?
I'm going with Denver for sure. Jacksonville hasn't proved anything to me once again this year. They're just a team that have struggled to find key assets and get the right players in the right spot. And Broncos are just doing too good right now. Anyways,
I have to go with the Broncos as well. I think just with a team that good, you can never count them out of games. And Jacksonville is just too inexperienced. They've proven time and time again that they can't find a way to win. You don't have experienced quarterback, which is the one place that you want to be sure before you win anything. And you got Blake Bortles, he's not showing anything.
No, he's your average quarterback. He probably would be a backup on any other team, and he's struggling for sure.
I just don't see a way. So we're 2 votes on Denver for that as well. We're looking like we're agreeing from top to bottom. Now we have Houston versus Green Bay. Who do you have?
You know what? I always have a soft spot for Green Bay. I'm gonna have to go with Green Bay. I love Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league. With hooking up with Jordy Nelson all the time, it's nice to watch. And they got a pretty strong defense. They have lacked a little bit of defense in the past few games, but with J.J. Watt out of the Texans lineup, I have a feeling Green Bay will just be fine. And also Brock Osweiler for the Texans still shows that he can be good in moments of games, and he can be really bad in moments of games with really bad decisions and keep points in the game.
This is true, but I think we're going to have our first disagreement of the night tonight. I'm going Houston because simply because of the fact that we've seen Green Bay play some great football this year, and we've seen them play some terrible football this year. They've choked against some very, very big opponents, and at the same time, they've won. And I just think that this is one of those times where I don't trust Green Bay in a team, and I'm just going for the upset in this one. And I think, call me crazy, I think that Houston's going to win this game.
Okay.
So, moving on, we have the Dolphins versus the Ravens. Who do you have?
I'm going to have to go with Baltimore. I like Joe Flacco back there. He controls the offense well for Baltimore. And for me, Baltimore just seems like they've always been steadily good in the league. They've always been able to compete in the league. And Miami has still, they're showing some, they're having actually a very good season compared to prior years. But I'm still going to go with Baltimore.
This is true. I'm going to have to go with the Dolphins. We have another disagreement here. I think the Dolphins are hot right now. They're on a, 5-game win streak. They played some good teams in that time. And you know what? I think that Ajay back there at running back, I think he's carrying the team pretty well.
Yeah, right.
And I think you got to go with the hot team at this point. Dolphins are playing very well. We'll see how it goes, but
fair statement.
That's another disagreement. So now we got the Bills versus the Raiders. Who do you have?
I'm going with the Raiders. I've noticed the Raiders have picked it up. In the past 5 games, they've gone on the winning streak. They take the top of the division. It's their time right now, I think. With Derek Carr in the back, he's playing out of his mind right now. And I think you can't stop him. The Bills won't be able to stop the Raiders. They're just going to keep rolling on by. It's going to be the historic season for Oakland because they're moving to Vegas, I believe.
Could be. They're in talks. I don't know if they've agreed on that 100% yet, but they're definitely in talks. Now, we're going back to the agreements because I'm going to Oakland. I'm thinking Oakland has the potential to possibly make it to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
However,
with the fan base that strong, I'm telling you, they have a very good shot, but they have to keep the hot hand going.
This is the thing I'm seeing, though. Even though they're having such a great season, I still don't see them beating the Pats.
No.
Just because when you got a guy like Belichick back there, and Tom Brady's playing excellent, you just... And it's terrible to say, but despite the great success that Oakland's having, the first success they've had in a very long time, I still can't see them.
No.
I still can't see them getting by the Pats, and it's sad to say. But anyways, in this game in particular, I do see Oakland beating the Buffalo Bills just because of the great season Oakland's having. Carr, like you said, amazing in the back. Just, I don't see any reason why they can't win that game. Moving on, we have the Steelers versus the Giants. Who do you have?
Yeah, both teams are tied for second in their division, and I feel like I'm going to go with Pittsburgh for this game. I like Ben Roethlisberger in the back with Antonio Brown. They have that chemistry that is just beautiful to see. They have a really strong backfield too with Le'Veon Bell and D'Angelo Williams in the back. And despite the fact that New York has OBJ and Eli in the back, I just see that Big Ben will be able to get it done. And is Pittsburgh at home?
I believe
so. Yeah.
I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that. We will get back to you on that. But
so yeah. So if the Steelers are at home, you're not going to be. It's going to be tough, and they're having a great season as well.
I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one. I think the Giants are going to take this game just because, and we got one of the best matchups of this week between quarterback and wide receiver duos, because you have Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown on one side of the ball, and on the other side you have Eli Manning and Odell Beckham Jr. This is going to be one hell of a matchup to watch, because those are some great duos. But I just think the Giants can have the edge on this one because they've shown the ability to make some upsets. I just think they're going to be capable of doing it this week. Moving on, what should be an easy pick, we have the New England Patriots versus the LA Rams. Who do you have?
I'm going to go with the Patriots for this one. When you got Tom Brady in the back and Bill Belichick as your coach, I mean, I just think Belichick, even he proved without Brady he could win. So I just think they'll be okay. Todd Gurley has shown a little bit of improvement throughout the year. There's a messy quarterback situation in St. Louis right now. I'm going to go with New England for that one.
I'm also going to go with New England. Easy pick. Bill Belichick can make any team successful. You know what? Call me crazy. I think he can make the Browns successful. 0-12 team. I think he could turn them around. Call me crazy. Maybe it'll happen.
You never know. You never know. I mean, you're going out on a limb, but hey.
I'm stretching on that one. But the point is, Belichick is easily one of the best head coaches in the league, if not the best head coach. And when he's working with Brady, when he's hot, it's going to be really hard to stop that too. Even without Gronk, I think they still have an easy chance of winning that game. Okay, moving on, we have the quick pick segment. So for the rest of these, there will be no explanation, just quick picks. We're going to fire them off, and we'll go from there. San Francisco versus Chicago. Who do you have?
I'm going to go with the Bears.
The Bears as well. Kansas City versus Atlanta. Who do you have?
I'm going to go with KC. I just think with their quarterback and defense, they'll be just fine.
I say Atlanta. Quarterback and wide receiver, both of them consistently being the top of passing yards and receiving yards. I think Atlanta. Moving on, Cincinnati Bengals, Philadelphia Eagles.
Going to go with Cincy. It's been a rough season for them, but they'll be okay today.
I say Cincy as well. Philadelphia started off strong, but they're really reeling right now. They're looking for a win, and I don't think they can do it against a team like Cincinnati. Moving on, Tampa Bay versus San Diego. Who do you have?
Going with San Diego, like Phillip Rivers, he'll be just fine against Jameis Winston and the Bucs.
I say Tampa Bay. I say they're having not a great season, but still one of the okay seasons in their franchise's history. I say they can take this game. Washington versus Arizona. Who do you have?
Going with Arizona, when you have the best running back in the league and a very good quarterback and wide receiver, you'll be just fine.
I think you're pushing him with the best running back in the league.
I mean, he's leading rushing yards, and he's proven that he can destroy teams time and again.
I'll concede that. I'll concede that. I don't know about best running back in the league, but I'll concede that for you right now. However, I'm going Washington Redskins. Kirk Cousins, I like that, and I like the fact that they might be able to win that game. Moving on, Seattle versus Carolina. Who do you have?
Seattle, they're just a complete team, and they've been doing their thing, and they'll do just what they've been doing against Carolina.
I say Seattle as well. Carolina's having a terrible season following their Super Bowl runner-up season. I just think that Seattle's got a great team right now, and it's going to be hard to stop them. And finally, last matchup we're going to be talking about, Indianapolis versus the New York Jets.
I'm going with Indy. Andrew Luck is fresh and back from the IR, and T.Y. Hilton is back too. They'll be just fine.
I say Indianapolis as well. I'm feeling lucky. And I think they're going to win. That was pretty bad, but you know what? We'll move on from there because I think Indianapolis is going to take that as well. So, to recap, Week 13 picks, both of us choose Detroit over New Orleans. Both of us choose Denver over Jackson. I chose Houston. He chooses Green Bay. I chose Miami. He chooses Baltimore. Both of us choose Oakland over Buffalo. I choose the Giants. He chooses the Steelers. Both of us chose the New England Patriots over the LA Rams. I mean, you got to be crazy not to think the Rams in that one. I mean, moving on, we have both of us the Bears over the Giants. He has Kansas City. I have Atlanta. Both of us have the Bengals over the Eagles. I have Tampa Bay. He has San Diego. I have Washington. He has Arizona. Both of us have Seattle over Carolina, and I have Indianapolis over the Jets. Stay tuned after this commercial break, and we'll be talking about TFC. Welcome back to the Bears Den. Today, now we're back to talk about TFC. Can they win the final?
Well, I'm going to talk about TFC a little bit here, and you can talk about Seattle, but TFC is my team. They're at home with a great crowd. It's their first final. They're making history, and I like Giovinco, what he's been doing there. He's been struggling a little bit.
There's no bias there, right? There's no bias there because he's an Italian.
No. There's no bias. No bias. I'm telling you, Giovinco, what he's done in TFC in 2 years has been amazing, and I think the problem for him though, he's struggled in the last 2 games against Montreal. First of all, weather. I think it's a little too cold for him. He started cramping in the last game, and I never thought I'd see a guy like him cramp. But
we were talking about the possibility of him not even playing in the final.
Right.
He's back though.
I think he'll just be fine. When you got a guy like Michael Bradley who controls the midfield beautifully, I mean he's proven time and time and again that he can control the midfield, play defense, and score goals at the same time. I mean he's a complete player. I kind of like to compare him to an Andrea Pirlo. Not as good, but I still think him and Pirlo play an identical style.
Pirlo now.
They play
not
but
Pirlo
they play an identical style, and I like the way Bradley's playing. Josie Altidore. Last game, if you watch Josie Altidore play, he was an absolute beast. Absolute beast. I think when you have a guy like that who can fire up a crowd the way he does, holding on to the ball, chasing guys down, muscling guys off a ball, I think he's just fine. Also, off the bench, you have Ricketts coming off the bench. That guy is your secret weapon. Every time he comes on, for the last 20 to 30 minutes of the game, he comes out guns a-blazing, scores a goal, just like last game, and I think it was awesome to see. He's played well. Their backline has scared me, and throughout the whole season, their backline hasn't been good. They need to work on the backline. Just stay strong in the back. They'll be just fine. I like Beitashour on the right side. He's very good, very strong player on the right side. I like Morrow as a wing back on the left side. They got a good core, very good core. Also, if you notice, when Giovinco came off the bench, Benoit Cheroux came on, old veteran for TFC, and what did he do? 2 minutes into his debut, he scores a goal. And I think TFC, if they were smart, they'd start him because he is just a great asset to have. He's like another Bradley back there. They can control the midfield so well, and I think he can take a guy like Cooper or Osorio off for sure, and he can play there just fine. So I'm going to go with TFC. They're at home, and I think they're going to win December 10th against Seattle.
Now, don't get me wrong. You mentioned that I was going to talk about Seattle. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a non-TFC fan. I'm still going to go with them because they're one of the few Canadian teams in the MLS. I want them to win just as much as the next person. The problem is I don't see it as being a 100% possibility, and I don't see it as possibly happening this year. Because you look at the stats, which is what I'm looking at right now. The all-time between Toronto and Seattle, which doesn't really tell you that much because it's all-time, so this is different teams in the past. But anyways, Toronto has only beaten Seattle 2 times. Seattle has won 7, and there have been 2 draws. In Toronto, they've only won once, and they've drawn once. They've only had 1 meeting this year, as you guys know, and they drew that time as well. I think it's one of those too good to be true stories. You look at the Maple Leafs. Everybody thought they were going to go very far that one time they made it to the playoffs, and they choked against Boston. So, don't get me wrong. I want Toronto to win. They may have the potential to win, and they could surprise a lot of people, and I would be ecstatic if that was the case. However, I don't know if that can be this year. That's just my opinion personally. I don't know.
I think, I'm going to counter that, like I said before. If they weren't at home, it would be a lot more of a struggle. When you got a home crowd from Toronto, they always have good fans, and they're loud. And I think that with a team like they have right now, they're good enough. They are good enough. Their keeper is okay. They finally have a stable keeper who's been playing games throughout the season. I just think that they will be just fine.
And that's true too, because when you look at it, Toronto is not a warm place this time of year.
Right,
so
and Seattle also isn't that warm of a place.
True.
But I also think that
it's kind of hard to focus on your game when you have that many screaming fans.
Yes, plus the
on
cold
the field,
weather.
and you
Who
can't
knows what the weather's going to be like?
It's
if there's going to be snow falling.
Exactly.
But I don't. Seattle, do they play on turf or on grass?
I believe it's on turf. I believe so.
There's another advantage. If you got TO, they're on the grass. BMO Stadium, I think with the way they play on a grass field, much better than on a turf field. I think they'll be just fine.
Well, the ball is completely different when you think about it. Some teams might be used to that turf field where the ball, as you guys know, if it has spin, everything will go farther and it'll go faster. However, when you're on grass, spin doesn't have that much of an effect, and the ball is a little bit slower when you're moving it on the ground. So teams like that might struggle. However, I'm sure they have practice fields.
Yeah.
They prepare for games like these.
And I think, but I think with TFC, they really showed to me that they played with a lot of heart throughout that whole game.
Well, every Canadian
and
team
they worked, and they worked as hard as they could. They really did it for the fans. They started off slow, and they just kept coming back. And what do you know?
Well, you're talking about a great story against them in Montreal. Them being down going into the last game, needing to
at
do
least
something.
2 goals.
At least 2 goals.
The away goal really helped them. If they didn't score those goals, we wouldn't be here talking about TFC going to the final.
Exactly.
Right now.
So it's just a great story. That'll wrap us up for TFC. We're moving on now after this break. We're back. Now we're talking about our early candidate for NBA MVP. Who do you have?
Well, it's a tough decision when you got so many superstars in the league, but when
Especially
you got
this early.
when you got Golden State with the team they have, I just think they're very good as a team, but they have 5 superstars starting, and when you got a team like Oklahoma City, on the other hand, you got 2 really good players.
You got one.
Well,
you got
I think with Victor Oladipo, you got Oladipo. He's a very good player, but then you got a superstar like Russell Westbrook.
You have one guy, in my opinion, he carries the team.
Russell Westbrook has been averaging triple doubles every single game.
That's what I'm saying. So
and I think,
that's why you have one superstar.
And he averages about 25 shots a game. When you're averaging 25 shots a game, it's hard to not be the best player on the team. And I think he's played every game so far. And I think without Russell, Oklahoma wouldn't be very good.
They'd be lost.
So I think with Westbrook, he's going to be my MVP because he's loyal to his team and he is the man.
I'll agree with you on that one. Just because, despite the fact Anthony Davis has more points per game than Russell Westbrook, and we've seen the guy put up 50, 40-point nights. The only problem I see with him is that he's playing on a team that's really not up to par with any other team in the NBA at this point. When you put up 50 to 40 points and you lose a game, that doesn't really sit well with me at all. And it's not going to sit well with people that choose MVP because they're going to look at that and say, sure, he's having a great season, but he's on New Orleans. I mean, you put any superstar on a team in New Orleans, sure, they're going to be the leading scorer on that team because there's nobody else that can take the reins there, which is what I'm saying about OKC, because I don't think Victor Oladipo, however you say his name, Oladipo, whatever. I don't think that he's a superstar in my opinion.
He's not a superstar, but he's a very good player, and he complements Russell just nicely. And I think, like you said, there's one player on the team.
There's one.
But I think that with Oladipo complements him well, and
it's just I see Westbrook as a guy that he is still like that team is in the top 10 with their record right now, and he's carrying them on his play solely alone. People can argue that same to the other people, but you know what? Look at all the clutch shots; they're all made by Westbrook. All the highlight reels of any OKC play are Westbrook. He's on fire right now, and he's out for a vengeance after what happened with Durant leaving and going to Golden State. He's out for a vengeance. He wants a title this year, and you know what?
I don't know if they'll be able to get a title.
The problem there I see is like we were saying,
he's gonna die out.
It's him. It's him. That's all you have. So when you go into a playoff series with just one player, it's really easy to beat that team. Isolate that one player and shut him down. Double team him. Easy as that. So unless they make some plays and they make some trades before the trade deadline and get another player in there better than Oladipo, that's his name, better than him, then I don't know, but I can still see them easily making the playoffs because of Westbrook. So he is my early candidate for NBA MVP. Closing the show, we will head to our St. Benedict Game of the Week. Now, this is a new segment that nobody has ever done. This is where we cover one game played by a team at St. Benedict's, whether that's soccer, hockey, anything. This week, we're going to be talking about hockey as the boys' hockey team that your hosts, both of us, play on, as you can see. We entered into a tournament this weekend in North Bay, and we unfortunately did not make it past the quarterfinals, but the game of the week was on Thursday in a 3-2 win over Algonquin. In that game, Noah Stargrad scores 2 goals. My co-host here, Alex Cimino, assisting one of them along with Eric Roussel, and Alex Yeomans was able to pot the other one. Now this was, if you guys were there, this was a really good game. Not in the best rinks, of course. Sam Jack's rink, I don't know if any of you guys have been there, but it's not much better lighting than this. And that's saying something, because when you're looking at a rink, it's kind of depressing to walk into something that's that dark. But that's past the point. Yeah. But you know what? We went up 1 goal. They came back with 2. We managed to score 2 after that to take it 3-2.
It was a full team effort. A lot of heart was put into the game. Exactly. Bodies were flying, and I think it was a good game to watch. And we played hard for that game. It was a really good game.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we do not have highlights for this game. In the future, every game should have highlights. Unfortunately, this week we did not. If you guys could see some of the highlights, though, I mean, you talk about a guy like Noah Stargrad. He's throwing the body around.
Yeah, for a small guy, he really works. He works hard, and I've never seen someone take someone who's around 5'6", take a guy out who's about 6'2".
Well, 5'6" is pushing it. 5'6" is pushing it. He's about 5'11". 5'11". But you know what? I agree with you on that one. You were talking about, if you guys could have seen this, he took out a guy about 6'3", probably pushing 210 into a corner, and there was a solid collision in that corner. And when you have a guy like that, it's easy to spark the team, because then you also have a guy like Dawson Nuchitai, who really knows how to throw the body around. Him at the point. You got guys on the team. Calvin Puro is another guy that can throw body around. Ben Bostrom. When you have guys like this working together, it really fuels the team. Unfortunately, as we said, we lost in the quarters. In that game, it was a 3-2 loss. Actually, yes, it was a 3-2 loss.
Double overtime.
Triple overtime. With 2 minutes left in the period. It was a tough loss, but this is a team that the Bears lost to 3-2, that St. Charles beat 3-2. So when you look at something like that, you can easily see the St. Ben's Bears as a contender in the league.
Yeah, I think in that game it was just too little too late for us. I think we had all the chances in overtime to put the game away. We didn't put it away, and the guys who were going, and they just ran out of guys. I found it. And you know what? It's okay, because there's a long season to go, and the Bears are just going to keep moving on. Next game is Monday. 7 o'clock, Carmichael Arena. We are playing McDonald Cartier. Going to be a barn burner and a half. It's going to be a good game. Also, during the week, you're going to catch girls hockey, any type of
boys basketball, girls volleyball.
It's going to be loaded, and it'll be fun. It'll be good.
So that'll do us tonight for the Bears Den. Tune in next week, and we hope you have a great night.
Thanks for having us.